What is up, YouTube, and welcome to this Joker video review. So there won't be any footage or anything like that in the video. I'm just going to use a static image because I keep getting struck by copyright claims, which is limiting my ways to monetize. So I do apologize there. I haven't actually got my setup yet in my new home. I haven't been able to actually set up a studio just yet. I'm surrounded by boxes, which won't look that good on camera. However, what we actually have here is one of the greatest movies of the year, if not one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. This movie is pretty much with probably Batman or the Dark Knight kind of movies, that Nolan franchise. So when we look back on the comic book history and stories, really we only got the defining kind of Batman movie, in my opinion, when it came to the Dark Knight, with obviously Heath Ledger playing the Joker. And it's quite funny here that we got the Joker in this movie, and this is very much a Joker movie. Obviously, it's called Joker, but what we see here is the definitive origin story of the Joker, in my opinion. They may be doing the three Jokers at some point when Jeff Johns gets around to actually being able to finish that comic. But here we have got an amalgamation of the comic book stories, resulting in the greatest version of the cinematic Joker. In my opinion, even better than Heath Ledger. I really think it's even better than himself. But this movie really is it's turned comic book movies into pretty much an art form, which is what The Dark Knight did. Obviously, Batman Begins was amazing, but Nolan really did strike gold with The Dark Knight. And let's just pretend that Dark Knight Rises, it wasn't that good, but you know what? I sort of enjoyed it. So really here, this is the antithesis or the anti-everything of the MCU. This is pretty much an anti-comic book movie in many ways. It is dark, it's gritty, it's violent. It's not as violent as people have said. The Daily Mail have sensationalized things by saying that people have been walking out of the movie and running out in some cases, but no. It's unsettling, it's creepy, and again, yes, pretty violent. But most of that violence is pretty much people being shot with guns and a short little stabbing there as well. So this review is pretty much going to have spoilers as well in the movie, unfortunately, because I will be talking about stuff that happened and that ending there, which was made out to be much more than it really is, in my opinion. But the backlash has been massive. This has been, or at least people have been scared that we will get another sort of shooting like how it happened in The Dark Knight Rises. It's very much incel, the movie it has been marketed as there. And, well, really, it is. In some ways, it is very much incel, the movie. It is very much sort of the kind of downtrodden guy in a city, and he's just had one bad day. So the influences in this movie are immense. Taxi Driver being a notable one there with Travis Bickle. Funny enough, Robert De Niro here as well, playing the role of the TV host here, who pretty much kind of really contributes to the decline of Arthur Fleck, Joker's kind of mentality, when his dream was to be on the show and be recognised by the TV show host. And he does go forward and actually, cause absolute chaos. We've also got other such influences as well, such as The King of Comedy, another Robert De Niro movie. This is very much that kind of late 70s, early 80s style movie. It is very much that kind of Dog Day Afternoon with Al Pacino. It has that kind of feel, sort of a kind of a Jacob's Ladder style feel there as well. If you've seen that movie, it's very much stuck in that time frame. And of course, the film, they never mention Gotham City. Well, they don't mention it quite early on in the film, and it just looks very much like New York, or more kind of Chicago-ish New York, which is pretty much what Gotham City is based on. But it does have that kind of early 70s, late kind of very early 80s sort of feel to the movie and look-wise, which I thought was really good. I really liked that. I grew up watching those movies late night on TV as well, such as, of course, Dog Day Afternoon, as well as Taxi Driver, and all of that kind of eerie, creepy Jacob's Ladder, which I haven't seen mentioned at all with in regards to this movie. But I think that might be the better comparison between the two. It's a very good movie, and I very recommend going to actually check it out. But the influences as well, comic book wise, of course, The Killing Joke is the biggest influence here, which is very much leading towards the One Bad Day storyline, which is where, of course, the Joker wanted, or kind of, it was exposed to a bad day. He then obviously became the Joker for the Ace chemicals there as well. And then he wanted to influence and have this happen to Detective Gordon there, or Commissioner Gordon, by attacking his daughter Barbara Gordon. So that happened, and none of that happens in the movie, but it's very much that theme is there, to say the absolute least. We have things such as Arkham State Hospital. Arkham Asylum isn't in this movie, but then again, this is very early on, so we could see that later on if they decided to do a sequel. There's very much an open-ended for a sequel as well. But what I really like, and I haven't seen people mention in reviews, is the fact that the descent into madness of Arthur Fleck is very much hand in hand with Gotham. In the background, we hear that there is massive problems in Gotham City. There is a garbage strike that's going on. There's super rats, which is interesting because there is actually a Batman villain called the Rat Catcher. So interestingly, if they decided to go next, they could have the Rat Catcher, but the Rat Catcher is going to be a female version over in the Suicide Squad movie with James Gunn, which we'll see where that goes there. And of course, we had major influences as well with Gotham, such as the Zorro movie, which is what Thomas Wayne took his son to see and then got absolutely murked as well. But Gotham slowly falls into absolute madness. And what I really like is that you're seeing the evolution of the people around Joker. He very much was a sort of unofficial, accidental populist. He accidentally creates a movement around himself, and he says he wanted to create the movement, but he did it by accident. He didn't mean to, which is why it seems more natural. And what we have is very much the Joker creating people around him, and then slowly he starts to realize the impact that he has and that he can capitalize on this, which is very interesting. And you see that go along, and you see Gotham sort of fall along with Arthur, and this sets it up for the future. This sets it up for Bruce, who now is kind of like 8 years old in this awful city, and he is growing and growing and growing as the city gets worse, which gives him a reason to come back. Because at the start, the city doesn't seem too bad, but now we've got Joker, who very much is not really a criminal, but he just wants to cause chaos, which is pretty much what the Joker is. And I thought it was very, very clever with the Joker, how he had a sort of problem with his brain that made him laugh, which explains why the Joker always laughs and laughs at really awful things. It's just, he can't help it. He's absolutely crazy. But the central kind of subplot of the movie is Thomas Wayne possibly being the father of Arthur Fleck. Now, what is interesting is we can't trust anything that Arthur kind of does or says, because we see him have a romance subplot with Zazie Beetz' character, who is interestingly a very, very great in this movie. But what we have here is him not. This was all in his mind, and it was hinted at when he went into the TV show, and thought that he would get brought down to a standing ovation. But in reality, he then went on to go onto the TV show and was mocked and ridiculed, which is a great statement on the kind of bringing people on, the 15 minutes of fame for people to go viral and making them look absolutely stupid, and how unethical it really actually is. And I guess Murray had his comeuppance there, to say the least. But the problem is, we cannot trust a thing he says, because with Thomas Wayne being his father, his mother, we can't trust her either. But slowly throughout the movie, we have hints. He finds out that he's not his son, kills his mother, but then we see a picture where it says, "I'll always love you," or some I can't remember exactly what it said on the back, with TW. Now, obviously, Thomas Wayne is going to deny this absolutely thoroughly, because he's got a thoroughbred son there with Martha Wayne, and it would be an absolute political scandal if he went on to actually, sire a son out of wedlock to a woman who works for him. So, what I'm thinking, and my theory, is the fact that maybe Penny Fleck was sent to Arkham State Hospital, a hospital which Thomas Wayne actually, in comic book history, has had ties with, has used in different media. He's either abused people who have been sent there, sent people there for his own gain, or he's actually tried to help them. So what if he actually sent Penny there to kind of think that she had adopted a son, and that, well, he was abused and she was a bad mother, sending her and never, ever speaking of any of this again. That's my theory. I think that's what's happened there. And I think that, well, Arthur may actually be his son. And I think it's thrown us off the course. But, of course, the acting was amazing. Joaquin Phoenix turning it up to 11 once again. He was amazing in this as well. And what I really like here is the fact that, well, the Waynes were killed by Joe Chill, and many people think that might actually be the Joker. It was someone here in a clown mask. Now, of course, Bruce is going to see someone in a clown mask kill his father and mother, and then as he grows up, he'll see the Joker being the clown prince of crime like he is, and he will actually then go on to think that, well, you know what? I'm going to take him down because that guy killed my parents. So it was kind of the innocent childhood kind of memory there. Now the twist is interesting because at the end we actually see when he all is said and done, he is in prison. Now he was actually released, and what's weird is that he is being adored by everyone at the end of the movie. He's adored by everyone when he thinks he's actually in the TV show. He's adored by everyone when he thinks he's killing it at the Pogo Comedy Club. So there's now 2 times he's being adored. Here he has been adored by everyone, but it doesn't seem real because we know it might not be real. However, we then see him in Arkham. He's all handcuffed, but what? Because he was just saved, unless the police found him later on. And then he has his handler again, who actually is interviewing him. She left as well, so she probably would have come back. She's visibly older as well, with grey in her hair. And then later on, we see him walk out of Arkham with blood on his feet. So that's interesting because he killed him. However, Arkham State Hospital is incredibly different to what it looks like when we see it earlier in the movie. So it's very different. Now, it could quite possibly be a different floor. It might be a criminally insane section of the hospital, which then leads on to maybe Arkham Asylum being created as we see more and more psycho killers as well. But at the end, I think it was all real, in my opinion, because we see the blood and everything like that. And, well, that is that. So let me know what you think. Do you enjoy the movie? Do you enjoy the backlash? The backlash is very weird, to say the least. It's very much kind of liberal journalists getting outraged at nothing because, well, it's a movie. No one said anything when John Wick was going around killing people or whatsoever. It just so happens that the narrative of this is a downtrodden man going crazy. And in my opinion, this is the way we may go if we go on with these identity and these politics of maligning and hating on the white male, so to speak. And this is where it may actually go if we're not careful. But that is it for this video. Please drop a like. Please subscribe. See you soon. Goodbye.